Hey everybody, welcome to Superhuman Customs. I'm Stephen Human. We have the big boy today. I had resigned myself to never finding an Eradicator. Here in Utah, they showed up and they were literally gone instantly. We ran to different stores. We had people in a toy hunters group that were like, they're here. We'd run right over, they would be gone. Luckily, one of those guys sold him to me. He had bought a couple extras. I got him at a great price. And we are going to customize this Eradicator. I want it to look a little bit more classic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the head of our good friend, Angry Superman here. And what we're gonna do with this body eventually is we're gonna make it a Val Zod. So you remember we painted it black. We're just gonna, I think this would be better as a Val Zod. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use Angry Head. And then for the visor, we're gonna use what's left over of this yellow plastic that we used on our Airborne figure from my book Paper Heroes. So we're gonna cut this down and see if it'll work. So this is gonna require some experimentation. We're gonna have to match some paint, but I love the Eradicator. He was my favorite one of the characters during the Death of Superman storyline, and I'm excited to get this guy done. So let's knock him out and pop his head off. First thing we're gonna do, I do not like these gaps here at all. I think they look terrible. I understand why they did it because this is basically a rebirth Superman body with just a different cape. So we're gonna take a little bit of fabric paint and we are going to fill in those gaps right here so that the cape and the symbol touch each other, because that's how it was. They were connected in the original comics. If I can get out any of this paint. Let's see what we got here. There we go. So we're gonna fill that in on both sides. There we go. And I'm just gonna smooth it out with my finger. And check that out, see? Now they touch just as they should. And it might dry a little bit off, but we'll paint if we need to, but there we go. So I went out into the garage and I cut this thing in half. And as you can see, you can kind of see through it a little bit on the face. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw onto it. I'm going to use the head as kind of a base and see so that it's kind of that same size. And then we'll use this as the test. Now I'm going to cut it with the X-Acto knife. And I'm going to try and be as precise as possible because I don't want any jagged edges here. I want it to be so that it looks correct. All right, that's not looking too bad. You can't really see through it very well, but it still gives it that look that I'm going for. I think this test might have worked out just the way that we wanted it to for this Eradicator. I got some super glue on here on the ends. Let's go ahead and get this on. Here is probably the most important moment of the entire thing as we attempt to get this right. So I've got it just on the ends, not on over his face. I don't want it over his face. And it will take a second to set. And so feel free to be able to mush it around a little bit. And as long as you don't get it on his face part, then he should be okay. That's looking pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Yeah. McFarlane Eradicator, people. Yeah. All right, what I'm gonna do now, he had his ears covered, so I'm gonna put a little bit of fabric paint over his ears that I can then color blue. Because I believe they were blue. The fabric paint has dried, and as you can see, it's not quite the same color, so I'm going to go through with a red I've got, and I'm going to paint it, and paint up on the cape a little bit. I'm not sure how close they're going to be, so I want to spread it around a little bit and just make it so that they match as much as possible. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and do it to the other side. See what we get. Something else I want to do, I like these more claw hands, But I don't like, I know what they're going for here. They want it to look like it's energy, right? But it just looks like he's been eating Cheetos. It doesn't have like the glow of anything. So I'm going to paint these black. I prefer these hands to the fists. They're more, I don't know, they just look cooler. And I'm gonna get rid of the Cheeto hands. I have a blue Vallejo paint, and I'm not sure how close it's going to be to what we've currently got, but it's what I've got. So I'm going to get this painted here and then take a look and see whether I need to do a coat of this blue over the top of the other blue. Hopefully they'll be close enough that I won't need to do that, but if not, I can do just a light coat and then it will for sure match the two. So that's all I'm gonna do here, is go through and fill in here so that it looks good, and then we'll see when it dries how close we actually are. All right, you can see they're not quite the same, the blues, but I do like the new blue better. So I'm just gonna do a quick coat of this blue over the top here and call it good. This is going on really fast and it's looking really nice. I do like this blue better. The other one kind of had a dullness, which I guess for maybe the modern Eradicator with just the black complexion. But this feels more classic to me with this blue. So I'm really glad that I'm being forced to do this because I think it just looks better. Well, we got the blue out. Let's go ahead and blue in these areas here now that have been dried so that it will match the rest of his body. And then I think we're gonna be pretty close to being done, which is absolutely awesome. This was not a difficult custom by any means, but we just made some smart choices, I think, right off the bat that allowed us to do some cool stuff. This is one of the favorite ones I have ever done. I love the Eradicator. I've always loved the look of, you know, the part black, part blue, and the cape coming over and connecting to the S. I've always loved it from the time I was, whatever it was, 14 when that comic book came out. 14, 15, somewhere around there. And I think this guy turned out awesome. I love how the visor looks. You can see through his eyes. Matching the paints was really easy. This guy is gonna be front and center on my Superman shelf. I'm so happy to have him. And now I have an excuse to do a Val-Zod with that other body, which is something I've wanted to do. And so we are going to do it. I just need to figure out the right head. I've been looking at all these wrestling figures to see if I can find the right head because I don't want to just use another Jon Stewart head. So we'll see if I can find something that will match, but I'll keep you guys posted. For now, this is the Eradicator. He is my quintessential Eradicator. I'm super happy he's a part of my collection. You guys feel free to post any customs you guys want to see, and I'll do my best to make it happen. I'm really glad I have this guy. I will see you guys next week.